opposite. Because if we're both doing Christian, we just run into each other. If we're both doing Japanese, we just take our center and away each other, and we basically have a gap. So as a lady, if I'm talking about beginning, even preparation step, believe it or not, when my gentleman invited me, and I'm right now in the balanced position, my knee and my sternum goes towards the toe, my stomach and my headway stays over the heel. Now, when he flexing more and making side step, in reality it's side step, but for me it's a diagonal forward step. So as a lady, I'm thinking of, I'm doing right now Christian. I'm dancing kind of under my partner. When we change in weight and we're doing this one, for my center, it becomes already diagonal backwards. So as lady, even if I'm staying here, very important not to block your partner, but already start to move your stomach back, so it's already Japanese on your last preparation step. When you make a first step, your weight is traveling back, so that's why you're doing basically stomach, 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 or I would say Japanese, Japanese, Japanese. On the first step of reverse turn, you start going backwards for your center. So it's going, you see where your hips, you're almost kind of coming from this rocking movement. The trickiest part for the girl is how you can swing this and yet keep this position. Because lots of people will probably end up doing this, and they will lose the top line. Because hopefully from sternum and up, it still stretches and presenting up to the ceiling. I'm talking about this particular part, but it's, again, those muscles are responsible for that. Because now your hips and weight swinging back while you're still looking this way. And you're doing Japanese to start with. You're, as you do in the middle of your turn, you're still Japanese, Japanese. Somewhere now it changes your weight, and this knee take over the weight, and it directs you forward, and you're making step with the toe under the partner. That immediately goes to basically Christian. Then you do further finger. You're flexing here, and your knee is going forward to dance Christian, Christian, and start with Christian and go into Japanese, Japanese. Yeah. So it's simple as that. Basically, if you take correct. So again, that will be, let me see, this will be your body, or lady's body, this is man's body. If you're talking about particular waltz, quick step, Venus waltz, very good example as well, or reverse, natural turns, regular, and foxtrot. We normally start forward, if this is the guy, this is the lady, and we start to go forward, but through the middle of the bar, we rotate, and then we end up going backward. On the last, if it's waltz, on a 3, I'm going backward. Even if I'm closing my feet, even I swing forward, but at this moment, from my center, I'm moving back. So very important not to end up doing this, but feeling like more internally than if I will pass my feet, I'll probably will have it even more, and you will see me more on the foxtrot, more forward, and I have more rotation here. In waltz, it will be closed feet, and I will have stretch, but you probably only, that's bad part about it. Good for teachers, I guess, and for dancers, because it's hidden. With all these clothes we have, with the tail suit, you don't realize how this is changing and involves even more backward. And particular, I think, with the ladies' dresses, you don't see how ladies are very well dancing with their knees. With gentlemen, you kind of, because wearing pants and tail suit, you can see the Christian very well. You're not always, for both of the partners, it's difficult to see when the Japanese is really working. But if we do it in harmony, one of us doing Japanese, the other Christian, we basically very well, hopefully will be balanced and dynamically able to rotate, hover, finish our closing feet and still build balance. A lot of other things as a package of that. But first, if you not allow your partner to swing the hips, if you're the girl and you're lowering like this and you're on the first step, your hips are blocking the partner, he is gonna run into you. Best case scenario, he just unfortunately make you back weighted, your first reaction to grab that, and the rest of it just gonna probably continue as a big time tension. But if we allow to dance so well underneath, forward and backward, and in particular able to switch from forward to back movement, from there your mind goes more from knees to stomach, knees. another translation from Japanese and Christian. You know, think of like what is your really targeting yourself. To show you that from here, and of course the guy will, funny enough, initiate it, and then he'll transfer the little tick into the lady's center tick, and she's doing here, and then she will get. And by herself, you'll think of, oh, maybe it's a little bit extreme. And of course, they had criticized by English people as well, but they could get away with that since they were vocabulary. And other people start to copy that. People who realize how to do it, it's also beautiful.
Can you do the man's side?
Oh, the man. See, the man will probably yeah. The man will still will be not that flowerish. He will be still, if he's going to always throw away. He will still use his center. He will use his center. Yeah. He'll more work with his knees and not that much on the upper body. Because anything we do, we'll try to make sure that any presentation line, we will start. By the way, that's also could be an interesting thing because you're asking how to do balance, and I think a lot of things, and people right away start to clap when people do dancers do presentation line. Pretty much, I would say most of them, if not all of them. Right now, I would say 99.9%. That's probably 100. They usually, for the presentation line, gentlemen will start with a Christian and end up dancing Japanese, even if it's a stationary. See, I'm going under my partner, and then I'm dancing my center back with my stomach muscles. I'm dancing back when I can look at the partner like that. So I'm big time over my partner. But I have to be careful that I don't put my head way over it, because we still want to remember that space in between us. Everybody has their own quarter to dance in. I'm not allowed to get as a lady into this quarter or in that quarter, if we divide like this, you know what I mean? A lady will be, for instance, doing vice versa. If she's getting here, she's moving back, and she's doing very much Japanese first, and then somewhere we start to change. Look what happens to my knees. I direct them, so I dance in Christian now. I'm dancing Christian. I'm dancing Christian. I'm dancing Christian. I'm dancing Christian. And I'm dancing with my knees forward, is my sternum forward and upwards. But what you see, I am doing totally opposite what you see. Once I arrive right here on the foot, I dance forward and upwards with my knees and sternum because I'm doing some Christian part. But as a result of it, you'll see that I'm going back and down. Yep. But if I'll do literally back and down, first of all, I'm gonna grab my partner and pull him back, and we're gonna be both like that. So it's both of us gonna do something there, especially in this area, and starts from the knees into this area. And what you see in upper body, hopefully it will be a result of what happened downstairs. The best thing, of course, I can probably borrow you, and you got the video of that too, and take a look. So basically what he will be doing, let me just think about it. So he will be doing flexing the knees, I'll say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So in slow motion you can, so I put my knees forward and and meanwhile I think I'm going up and down, and with my knees I'm doing backwards and forward, and meanwhile I think as the rest of it I think my central stomach muscle is doing the opposite to that. Yeah? So it will be, let me try start with forward. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So it feels like a Christian Japanese. So we alternate this, and I go up on toes when I have it, and also coming back like this. So yeah, they call it fish exercise.
It's like a fish.
Yeah. So, and speaking of, yeah, of course, if you will be able to put it in slow motion, you will see what's really happening. Another exercise, I think for your knees, it's not that maybe is a problem, because we have, if you have more or less healthy knee, you understand, like I said, try to direct your knees forward. Don't think you're going down. In tango, it's a bit easier because you're already invited like this. And then you have to just walk forward, or you're going backward. You just take your hips or center away from your knees. Yeah. What also maybe happens when you're going forward or backward, distance between your stomach and your knees are increasing in that position. You know what I mean? to go forward, your stomach stays, but your knees are moving, and then you have to make another step. Well, it's a Waltz foxtrot. When you go backwards, you will flex your knees, and your knees are kind of going back forward, or they really stay, look like they go forward, because of course that's how the joint works. But in reality, my knee stays, and my stomach is going away from the, and now I have the distance between, kind of like this much, I guess, yeah, before I take off and go further. Exercise for your knees, I guess, use something very stable, and your idea will be just how far you can just use, just very little, how far your knee can go forward before you feel like you have to make a step. Or you probably will feel that when you're moving your knee forward, at some point your heel will take off. Then it's time for you to make a step. You know what I mean? And of course, the longer you can do it, I think that kind of stretches this joint and those muscles. But in the reality, yes, how far you can go, once it's going up, then it's time for you to step. So I think the range, the further you can go before you have to make a step, that'll be good exercise for your Christian. For your Japanese, I think just in general, you see how we yesterday also discussed, you have initial position, and then you have to go back. So I think just how you can, again, I wonder, one of the things I was showing you, remember, on sitting on the bench, you just sit down and feel like you can try to grow, and the more you growing or stretching, your muscles for free going a little bit more towards the spine. So I don't want you to think of doing basically like this. No, I didn't want to like suck it in, because people say, oh, suck it in, suck it in. It's nothing had to do with suck it in, because if you suck it in, you probably will do tight and you look like this posture. So when you think of internally, we'll take it back. You just have to, I guess, feel, and if I'll do it through this, that you take it back and you have to make a step. But the range, I guess, also good, very good exercise is just stretching on one foot. It's a good exercise for if you have a healthy knee. It's just not going to be only for the Japanese, but it also will help big time. On every foot you have 5 positions. That's what Luca showed us. So you will stretch from tip of the toes to tip of the fingers, all through all this body, through all of that. Through all that, that's also involved in stretching. It's not falling out. Yeah, that's your side. In fact, he was doing without landing on the foot. Then he will collect the foot, and then you have a forward 2 positions, and you feel like you're stretching again from the tip of the toe, from tip of the finger over there, and then you have without contra body movement forward. You can change your head if you need to, and then backwards, same thing. He will do without CBM, stretching very well, feel like this is involved, this is involved, this is involved, everything is involved. And on the same foot, you have a contra body movement and also feel like all this involved. No, you really feel like from the tip of the toe through the leg, through this, it's all stretching, and you're trying to reach and touch that wall. I know I don't gonna touch it, but I want to touch it, and I want to touch with that toe that wall. And if I even it up, obviously 2 things gonna help. Number 1, your balance, because if you saw it, like when he was showing, he was not even putting the foot on the floor. The other thing, of course, it's going to be a range of the movement and your step in general, because that's what happens when you stretch more, and then you will have a movement of pushing and extension. You will have also much bigger step to start with. And obviously you do it on one leg and then do on the other leg. Just don't overdo it too much, so you don't feel like, oh man, now I can't even stand up or anything like that. So, but that's good exercise.
I stretch on the floor.
But I said something different about the dynamic verticality. What your question was, that's really quite important, because we're almost never, except if when I invite you to go, or maybe standing spin, when I'm just standing and spinning, I'll have that vertical. when I'm moving, it's never gonna be. If it's a Viennese waltz, it's big time. You will see Viennese waltz is the best one, basically, to see it, because especially on the good couples, you will see how very well one partner goes under another partner, and then allows the partner go under them. If it's a natural turn, same thing. I go under my partner, and just like you said, it's not as severe as a sambaro, but idea is still very the same. Because sometimes some Italians were overdoing it and people were like, "Come on, that's not Viennese waltz already. That's already sambaro." Because what happens, we don't want to react with upper body like that. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.